If you still believe modern relationships are built purely on love, you're already at a disadvantage. They're not grounded in loyalty, sweet words, or even noble intentions. They're shaped by power, emotional influence, and quiet control. A woman doesn't lose sleep over the man who gives her endless peace. She becomes captivated by the man she can't fully read, the one she can't completely claim. This isn't manipulation, it's simply human nature. Centuries before psychology named it, Machiavelli understood it. He didn't write fairy tales. He wrote about strategy, fear, power, and the hidden weaknesses people try to conceal. Among his most piercing insights were 10 emotional triggers women would prefer you never discover. Because once you understand them, you don't chase love, you become the gravity that pulls it in. So, ask yourself, will you just try to win her heart? Or learn to master the game she's quietly playing? If this speaks to you, like the video, share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more. Weakness 1. The fear of exclusion, leveraging absence. The fear of being left out is older than civilization itself. It's something ancient, buried deep in every human mind. We rarely speak about it, yet it quietly shapes our emotions and guides our choices more than we realize. It's the fear of exclusion. To understand it, we need to go back thousands of years. In tribal times, rejection wasn't just a bruise to the ego, it was a death sentence. If the group cast you out, it meant more than loneliness. You could starve without shared food. You could freeze without the shelter of the tribe. You could be attacked without others to defend you. You were alone, exposed, vulnerable. That's why the human brain evolved to avoid rejection at all costs. We are wired to treat it as a threat to survival. Now, fast forward to the modern world. We no longer live in caves or hunt in packs. But the same primal programming still runs in the background unchanged for millennia, and for women, whose historical survival depended more on social bonds than brute force. This fear is often sharper. For centuries, being liked, accepted, and chosen wasn't just a nice feeling. It meant protection. It meant resources. It meant safety. That's why, even today, it shows up in subtle ways. She checks her phone repeatedly, waiting for a reply. She feels uneasy when you pull back, wondering, did I do something wrong? She tries to reclaim attention once it starts slipping away. And here's the truth most men ignore. If you are always available, always quick to respond, always present, you become predictable, expected, invisible. You fade into the background of her life, like wallpaper she barely notices. This is where psychological power begins. Presence is valuable only when it is balanced with absence. When something is always there, it becomes ordinary. But when it's occasionally missing, it becomes precious. So don't be the man who answers every message within seconds. Don't be the one who always initiates. Don't stay permanently on call. Instead, step back now and then. Let a few texts sit unanswered for a while. Take your time before you respond. Why? Because absence creates space, and in that space, tension builds, curiosity grows, uncertainty creeps in. She starts asking herself, where is he? Why hasn't he replied? Has his interest faded? That uncertainty triggers the same ancient fear of exclusion her ancestors felt. It makes her lean forward instead of pulling away. This isn't about being rude, cold, or manipulative. It's about not being too easy to reach. because scarcity creates value. And when your presence feels like a privilege, her attention sharpens, her effort increases, her emotional investment rises. Machiavelli once observed, "The absent are always in the wrong, but the unpredictable are always remembered." The strategy is simple: don't always be available. Let your silence speak for you. Make her feel your time, your focus. Your energy must be earned, never assumed. Because once she believes losing you is a real possibility, she will work harder to keep you close. And that is when the balance shifts. Not through pressure or force, but through the deliberate use of absence, a quiet power few men ever master. Weakness 2, emotion outranks logic. Speaking to her feelings. Let's make something clear from the start. Most men try to win a woman's interest by presenting facts. And that's the reason so many fail. They lead with statements like, "I'm successful. I work for a top company. I'm financially secure. My life is in order." All of it may be true. All of it makes perfect sense. But here's the problem: logic alone doesn't move her. Emotion does. You can stand in front of her, listing your job title, your salary, your degrees, and she might politely nod and smile. But in her mind, she's drifting away. Why? Because you're talking to her intellect, not her emotions. Women don't get drawn in by your resume. They connect to your energy, your presence, and the story you tell about who you are. Consider this: if you work in sales, you could say, "I'm in sales." Technically true, but forgettable in 5 seconds. Or you could say, "I help ideas move people." That's not just a statement, it's a spark. It makes her wonder, what kind of ideas, how does he move people? Now you're not just a man with a job. You're a man with a narrative. This is the shift you need. Don't hand her raw data. Give her an experience. Here are more examples. Instead of, "I'm a manager," say, "I create calm in the middle of chaos. People turn to me when things fall apart." Instead of, "I'm a software developer," say, "I like building things no one can see until they work perfectly." Instead of, "I'm in finance," say, "I help people make smart moves with their money before it's too late." Each of these lines does something important. It paints an emotional picture. It invites curiosity. It speaks to her imagination instead of only appealing to reason, because while the male mind often seeks logic, the female mind leans toward feeling, mystery, and meaning. She's not silently asking, "Is he rich?" She's thinking, "How do I feel when he speaks?" This is why you need to stop being a spreadsheet of information. Become something worth exploring. Be a movie, a novel, a story she wants to keep turning the pages on. Machiavelli would never waste time explaining himself in dry terms. He would influence perception. He would craft an image in the mind of his audience. That's exactly what you must do. Because logic fades. But the feeling you leave behind, that lingers, it stays in her mind long after the facts have been forgotten. And when you speak in a way that makes her feel something, she'll want more of it. That's the real power, not overwhelming her with information, but sparking an emotion she can't quite name, yet can't ignore. Weakness 3. Validation is not free. The cost of attention. Let's be real. Most beautiful women live surrounded by a constant storm of attention. One photo online, and within minutes, the flood begins: likes, hearts, fire emojis, and messages stacking up one after another. "You're gorgeous. I'd do anything for you. You're divine. Even if she claims it doesn't matter to her, it still feeds something deep inside her sense of worth, her self-image, her feeling of influence, and every man who adds to that flood blends into the background, indistinguishable from the rest. This is where so many men fall into the same trap. They believe that giving more praise, more compliments, more attention will separate them from the competition, but it doesn't. It pushes them into the same category as everyone else. She's met hundreds like you, and she already knows exactly how this story ends. When you give validation too quickly and too generously, she subconsciously puts you in a mental box. Another man who wants me, another man I don't need to work for. Here's the truth. What comes without effort is quickly forgotten. What's earned is remembered. Imagine handing someone a diamond every morning. It wouldn't take long before it no longer felt special. Why? Because when something is always available, it loses its power. Your validation works the same way. If you shower her with praise before she's shown genuine interest, before she's invested in you, you've already surrendered your position. She didn't have to earn it. She didn't have to wonder. She didn't have to try. And because of that, she won't value it. Now, picture a different approach. You're composed. You're in no hurry. You don't rush to flatter. You don't compete for her attention. Then, after she's taken steps toward you, after she's shown effort, you offer one compliment rare, precise, intentional. It lands differently. It lingers in her mind. She replays it in her head. She feels it in a way she never would have if you'd given it freely from the start, because it came from a man who doesn't hand out validation to everyone. He chooses, he grants it to those who've earned it. This is the shift. You're not cold. You're not dismissive. You're selective, because you understand your attention is valuable, and only those who bring value to your life should receive it in return. So let her earn it. Let her wonder about it. Let her chase it. And when she finally does receive it, it won't just feel like another compliment. It will feel like recognition. It will feel like power. Weakness 4. Stability without tension falls flat, balancing safety and excitement. Every woman desires to feel secure in the presence of a man. But when safety comes without excitement, it slowly turns into boredom. Yes, give her stability. Be someone she can depend on. Let your words match your actions. Lead with consistency and integrity. But understand this: predictability can become the enemy of desire. If she knows exactly what you'll say, what you'll do, and how you'll react every single time, the emotional spark fades. There's no tension, no curiosity, no fire. Security without surprise is simply comfort. And comfort, on its own, rarely keeps attraction alive. Many men make the mistake of thinking, if I'm always nice, calm, and available, she'll feel safe and never leave. But safety alone doesn't make her stay. She stays where her emotions stay awake. The key is balance. Be consistent, but avoid becoming mechanical. Be strong, but not overly soft. Be warm, but not endlessly available. Sometimes that balance is as simple as breaking routine. Maybe she assumes your weekend plans are already set. Then you take her somewhere unexpected, a place she never saw coming. That moment of surprise lights her up inside. In that instant, you're still her anchor, but you've also become the wave. It's the contrast, calm and chaos, order and spontaneity, that reignites her emotional energy. A man who can give her both safety and the thrill of unpredictability becomes unforgettable. This doesn't mean creating drama or instability. It means knowing when to shift gears, when to let the moment feel new again, and when to step outside the pattern, when she feels secure in your presence but never fully certain of what's next. Her interest stays alive, because she's not just living in comfort, she's living in a story that still has chapters left to be written. Weakness 5. Introduce subtle social competition. Activating her ego. Many men believe the fastest way to win a woman is to make her feel like she's the center of their universe. They give her every ounce of attention, respond instantly, and make it clear she has no rivals. But here's the problem when she knows she already has you. The value of your attention drops. There's no challenge, no tension, no uncertainty. What most men miss is this: women are not only emotional, they are deeply aware of their social standing, even if they never say it out loud. They feel the quiet undercurrent of competition. And when a woman senses another woman could have you, or already does, it triggers something primal in her ego. She feels the need to secure her place. Now, you don't need to openly flirt with other women or post staged photos with models. That kind of behavior screams insecurity. Instead, you plant seeds with small, casual mentions of the women in your life. Phrases like "Emily gave me that insight the other day. She's sharp in business. I was having coffee with a friend and she mentioned something interesting. One of the women on my team said almost the exact same thing." Notice the difference. No bragging, no disrespect, not overplaying it. Just subtle social cues that show your world naturally includes women who respect your mind, your presence, and your company. The moment she hears it, a quiet calculation begins in her mind. Who is she? What does she have that I don't? Why did he choose to spend his time with her? And that's the beauty of it. You've activated an invisible current of competition. You've reintroduced the challenge. And challenge fuels attraction. Because in every market, romantic or otherwise, when something is desired by others, it becomes more valuable. This isn't about playing games or being manipulative. It's about letting her see that your attention is earned, not owed. It's about reminding her that you're a man with options, a man whose time is not on permanent standby. When she feels that losing you is a real possibility, her investment rises. She puts in more effort. She becomes more attentive. And suddenly, the dynamic shifts without a single argument or demand, just by letting social reality work in your favor. Weakness 6. Mystery builds addiction. The power of unfinished stories. The quickest way to make her lose interest is to hand her the entire map of who you are on day one. When you spill your whole life story in the first conversation, you remove the thrill of discovery. There's no tension, no chase, no unanswered questions for her to linger on. Curiosity is one of the strongest emotional stimulants we have, and mystery is the spark that ignites it. Humans can't stand open loops. If something feels unfinished, our minds return to it over and over, searching for resolution. That's why cliffhangers keep us hooked on a show. That's why an unanswered question keeps you up at night. If she already knows everything about you, she moves on. But if you reveal less, dropping hints, holding back certain details, letting her wonder about your thoughts, your feelings, and your untold stories, her mind will work overtime to fill in the blanks. This isn't about deception. It's about restraint. It's about letting her imagination do the heavy lifting. Let her try to decode a subtle glance. Let her dwell on a sentence you almost said, but stopped short. Let her ask herself, who is this man really? What she imagines will always carry more emotional weight than anything you could explain outright. In her mind, you become a narrative. She replays again and again, each time building a deeper fascination. That's how emotional addiction starts, not with complete certainty, but with the burning need to know more. So, be deliberate with what you share. Let certain chapters remain unread. Keep a few questions unanswered. You'll find that the less you hand over instantly, the more she invests in finding the missing pieces, because when mystery lingers, interest grows, and when she's hooked on finding out who you truly are, you've already won more than her attention. You've captured her imagination. Weakness 7. Provide leadership gently. Quiet strength. Most women won't admit this openly, but deep down, they don't just want a man who listens. They want a man who leads, not a dictator, not a controlling boss, but a grounded leader, a man who knows what he wants and can guide without silencing her voice. Even in today's world, where women are more independent than ever, a man who can lead with quiet confidence remains deeply attractive, not because she's weak, but because she longs to relax into your strength. She wants to feel certain that if life turns chaotic, you won't freeze or crumble. You'll step forward, simplify the situation, and carry some of the weight so she doesn't have to. This doesn't mean controlling her every move. It means taking initiative when it matters most. It's the calm assurance in your tone when you say, "Let's try that new Thai place on Saturday. I've heard it's amazing. I've got the weekend handled. Just be ready by 6. Those aren't orders. They're anchors, signals that you have a clear frame she can trust. It tells her that following your lead won't lead to chaos, but to clarity. True leadership in a relationship is quiet, calm, and steady. You don't need to over-explain or seek permission for every small decision. She doesn't want to mother you. She wants to feel she can lean on you emotionally, mentally, and energetically. When you lead gently, you create space for her to let go of constant control. You let her feel the relief of not having to carry everything herself. You make her trust that no matter what comes, you'll keep the ship steady. Leadership without ego is rare, but when you embody it, you unlock a level of respect and trust most men never reach. She won't just follow you, she'll believe in you. So, hold the wheel, guide with calm direction, make decisions with quiet certainty, because when she senses that your leadership is not about dominance, but about providing stability, she'll feel safer, more attracted, and more willing to invest fully in you. Lead not with force, but with presence, not with commands, but with clarity. That's how you earn the kind of loyalty and respect that lasts. Weakness 8. Attention inflation in the digital age. Making your attention rare. Attention has become the cheapest currency in the modern world. We live in an age where a woman can post a single picture and within minutes receive a flood of likes, heart emojis, flame icons, and endless "you're gorgeous" messages. It's constant. Comments, DMs, tags, reactions all pouring in every single day. To her, this is not unusual. It's not even arrogance. It's just the way the digital world works now. Social media has turned validation into background noise. It's everywhere, easy to give, and even easier to ignore. Here's the part most men never understand when something is too common. It loses value. If you're the guy who responds to every post, replies to every story in seconds, sends good morning texts without thought, and compliments her daily. You're not making her feel special. You're making yourself predictable, and predictability, in this context, doesn't spark attraction, it dulls it. She won't see you as attentive. She'll see you as part of the endless chorus of men vying for her attention. And when your attention costs her nothing, it means nothing. Now flip the script. Imagine you're calm, measured, and intentional. You don't message first every time. You don't double text. You respond in your own time, not instantly. You're not cold or rude, you're simply steady. When you give attention, it's deliberate, and it's tied to something meaningful she's done. Suddenly, your attention feels rare. Scarcity changes its value. She notices that you're different. While other men chase constantly, you create space. That space makes her curious. She starts asking herself, why hasn't he replied yet? Why doesn't he react like the others? That curiosity begins to work in your favor. And when you finally send a short, genuine message, it lands harder. It feels intentional. It feels earned. This isn't about ignoring her or playing childish games. It's about showing her through your actions that your attention is a privilege, not a free sample. It's not something given simply because she's beautiful. It's something she must inspire through effort, interest, and depth. When you hold your attention to a higher standard, you stop being just another name in her notifications. You become the man she thinks about between those notifications, and that quiet shift from abundance to selectivity is what turns attention into attraction. Because in a world drowning in noise, the rare signal is the one worth chasing. Weakness 9. Become the project, not the prize, inviting her investment. Most men get this wrong. They think women are always chasing perfection, a man who has everything figured out, polished, and complete. But here's the truth, perfection can get dull quickly. What many women find far more engaging is a man with visible potential, someone already strong but still growing, a man who's on a journey of becoming more, and who invites her to witness that evolution. When a woman feels she's part of your progression, she's not just observing your life from the sidelines, she's influencing it, contributing to it, helping shape it. That emotional involvement creates a deep and lasting bond. This doesn't mean you show up broken, needy, or in constant crisis. It doesn't mean unloading every personal problem onto her shoulders. Instead, it's about showing a controlled vulnerability, real challenges you're tackling, ambitions you're pursuing, skills you're refining. It could sound like this: I've been working on becoming more disciplined in my routines. It's tough, but I'm getting better. Public speaking used to terrify me, but I'm finally making myself get comfortable with it. I've always wanted to start my own business, and now I'm taking the first real steps. In moments like these, you're not asking her to rescue you, you're showing her you have a mission, and she gets to witness the progress. This creates a special role for her. She's not just your lover or your friend, she becomes a partner in growth. Her encouragement, her presence, and her support start to feel essential to your journey. And here's the psychology behind it: when someone invests emotionally in your success, they naturally feel more connected to you. They become attached not only to you, but to their own role in your story. But remember, you're still steering the ship. You are not her project because you're lost. You're her project because you're already on the move. And she sees the value in where you're going. A woman will often fall harder for what she believes you're becoming than for what you are right now, especially when she knows she's part of that transformation. So don't try to be the flawless prize sitting on a pedestal. Be the man in motion. Be the journey worth joining. And let her feel the quiet thrill of knowing she's helping build the man you're becoming. Break free from the habit of being an open book. Don't appear the moment she calls. Don't hand out your time, energy, and emotions as if they cost nothing. Instead, pause, watch, learn. Most people enter relationships blindly driven by feelings, chasing approval, desperate to be liked. But the men who truly stand out think differently. They operate like strategists, always asking what stirs her desire, what sparks genuine respect, not just surface-level attention. When your inner world is steady, when you feel no need to prove yourself, the chaos around you stops being a threat. It becomes your stage, and that shift changes everything. If these words make you uncomfortable, good. That's what truth does. It doesn't always feel pleasant, but it has the power to set you free. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 9 triggers have you seen in women or in others, or maybe even in yourself? Which one struck you the hardest? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Yes, even a single word could open someone else's eyes. And if this message connected with something deep inside you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone still blind to the game. Because here, we're not interested in playing nice. We play smart. And remember, in the arenas of attraction and life, real power is never handed over. It's claimed,